Definitely forgot to unmute my mic. What up, everybody? You know what it is. You know the vibes. It's your boy XX Canvas 395. You know the vibes. We're gonna be just chatting today. We're live on the Canvas Hub over on YouTube, as well as XX Canvas 395 on Twitch. Hope everybody's doing great. Hope everybody's doing fantastic. Um, we got a few topics to go over today, and then we'll probably get into some gaming. But so far, our topics mainly are going to consist of the UFC. It'll be, I'm going to try and go for as long as I can for the Just Chatting stream. But we got Sean O'Malley versus Marab 2, the second stream, or the second fight. We also have Kayla Harrison and her upcoming fight. Both fights are happening tomorrow. It should be super interesting, something I'm excited for, and something that I really can't wait to see the outcome of. I don't know if I'm going to be able to watch the fights live because I do have prior plans that I have to attend, but I'm going to try my best. If I can get back on time, I will try my best to watch the fight and or the highlights, react to them, get a video out. Most likely Sunday, I'm going to try and maybe get a few people on the stream. I already messaged 2 people, so maybe I can get a person or two that kind of know the UFC a little bit that could also give their takes, their opinions on the fights. Um, and yeah, I don't really have too much else. That's really like the only topic that I have today is the UFC fights. But as always, I do offer, if you guys have any topics, I'm more than happy to talk about. Really, anything you guys would like to talk about, I'll look up whatever, and we can do a little research on it and talk about it. And yeah, I do have a topic that I have been kind of wanting to go over, which is that apparently Drake wanted Pop Smoke's first posthumous album to get blocked because Pusha T's verse on one of his songs. And I'm just like, bro, like, I have a lot of thoughts on that. We could get into that too. I may talk about it a little later in the live, but um, yeah. For now, I think that's everything for now, and let's get into it. So, first off, we have Sean O'Malley versus Marab 2. That's with you. Um, it's been a highly anticipated fight for me, honestly, and I really think UFC fans in general, I think a lot of the cards have been super dry. One thing that is kind of concerning about this fight is that the press conference was only like 12 minutes for like the lead up to this fight, which was weird. Um I'm not sure why. Oh, my stream restarted? Hold on. Let me double check. Can I see how long I've been live on YouTube? Yeah, my connection is not the best right now. I apologize. All right. It's okay. It is okay. Dang. So, fuck. All right. I'm not gonna let this ruin my momentum. I'm just gonna go straight into the UFC stuff. I feel like we already did our intro. Um, if it restarts again, I may just wait until later tonight. But yeah, I don't know. It just says unstable on Twitch for some reason. So if it crashes again, I will stream tonight. Regardless, I'm gonna be playing Phasmophobia probably a little bit, and then I will probably do a just chatting stream if I keep crashing. But hope everybody's doing good. Hope everybody's doing great. You know what it is. You know the vibes. It's your boy XS Canvas 395 just chatting live. Today we got Marab versus Sean O'Malley 2, a fight I've been looking forward to, a fight that's been highly anticipated, not just by me, but I think UFC fans everywhere, as lately the cards and fights have been a little dry in my opinion. I feel like the UFC is running into a similar problem that the NBA is running into in terms of needing stars. If you look 5 years ago in the UFC, their top stars were totally different than who's on top right now. I think the UFC stars are really just getting old, and Father Time is undefeated. The older you get, the less reactive you are in fights and stuff like that. So I think it's interesting the predicament the UFC's in. However, I still do believe that the UFC is holding on and going to make a super fight when they get out of their deal with ESPN. I think it's going to be one of the first cards of the new deal. I don't know when the UFC deal is out. We can double check real quick. When does the UFC deal with ESPN expire? Set to expire in 2025. Let's look at this. So it just says 2025. There was also in the press conference for one of the fights recently, they were asking the announcer, will John Jones fight Tom Aspinall? And if maybe the announcer can make that happen. And the announcer said, I don't really have much power, but maybe it might happen around December. Now, when I heard that, it really only more helped confirm my theory that, maybe when the ESPN deal is out, maybe that fight does go through. I wholeheartedly think you need a banger to start off the new deal. Like, you can't go into the new deal and have a bunch of mid fights with no build up, with no payout, and expect, your current partner after you make the deal to really be happy about that. So I think they're going to make a super fight on like one of the first cards, if not the first card on their new deal. The John Jones versus Tom Aspinall fight will happen. In fact, recently, I believe John Jones has said Tom Aspinall isn't really as good as a lot of his fans think. He said, quote unquote, that he's seen Tom Aspinall get choked out and submitted twice. Interesting turn of events. Now, my opinion on the Tom Aspinall-John Jones fight, I think Tom Aspinall is probably going to wipe the floor with John Jones standing up. But I think John Jones would have the upper hand on the ground. But I think John Jones, if you look at the Stipe Miocic fight, every time John Jones got hit, he turned around and tried to circle around, and it didn't work out well for him. but ultimately he did get the win. I'm not saying that Miocic really punished him for it, but in my opinion, maybe I shouldn't have said that it didn't work out well for him because he still did win the fight, but you have like a younger, more energetic, more explosive fighter in Tom Aspinall. And in my opinion, I don't think you can turn your back to the fighter. Like, I don't think there's going to be time for that. I think you're going to get a hook to the face, like, as you're trying to walk away. And we see how that works with Michael Chandler. And I'm not comparing John Jones to Michael Chandler, but I feel like that's a very real possibility if Tom Aspinall's striking really is that much more superior than John Jones. And I don't think it's John Jones's fault, really. I think it's just because he's getting older, right? Like I said, Father Time is really undefeated. I think John Jones is a great fighter, but I do think that Tom Aspinall would beat him standing up. Now, if there is footage where Tom Aspinall is actually getting submitted and choked out, then that is interesting because, you know, John Jones is one of the best grapplers in the MMA and the UFC right now, in my opinion. I think that John Jones could get him on the ground and really do some damage to him, but I would really be most concerned about standing up against Tom Aspinall. I don't know. I think it's going to be a super fight. I think it's going to be a good fight. I think, honestly, John Jones comes out of it, but it's going to push him, bro. It's going to push him harder than any other fight that he's had has pushed him, just because, you know, he's older now. It's been, you know, he did fight Stipe, but his last two fights have been kind of like really short and one-sided, if you will. So I think that John Jones wins that, but I do think it's going to push him to his absolute limit. I do think he's going to have to dig deep and, you know, find a little bit of his old self to help his current self prosper, you know. Sean O'Malley versus Merab, I do wholeheartedly think, and I don't know, I really hope this isn't a shock to many people, but I do think that Merab's going to win easily again. I don't think Sean O'Malley has shit on Merab. I think Merab and his grappling are just superior to Sean O'Malley and his striking. Merab is about to totally dominate Sean O'Malley, in my opinion. It's not about to be close, especially after the first fight when Merab realizes what he can really do and what he can get away with in the fight against O'Malley. You know, I think it's going to be worse for O'Malley, unless the only thing that I can think of is that, you know, Merab, I think maybe he could get overconfident. I think maybe he gets a little cocky and Sean O'Malley takes advantage of it. However, I think the reason Merab got a little cocky in the first fight was because he knew that he was winning the fight the whole time. Like, after the first round, like, the fight was not debatable. Like, Merab won every round after that, in my opinion. Like, the first round was maybe debatable, and then every round after that went to Merab. So I think Merab is totally going to dominate again. Sean O'Malley is going to fall down a peg. He's going to have to be humbled once more in his next fight against Merab. You know, and that's not to discredit Sean. I think Sean's got great striking too. I think really some of the best striking in the UFC. If you talk about some of the best strikers of all time in the UFC, I think his name would definitely be maybe in like the top 10, top 15 for sure. He really has had a great career. However, it's, in my opinion, a disservice to these fighters who are known for one thing, kind of like Alex Pereira, or I guess Sean O'Malley, because Sean O'Malley got exposed by Merab for this, where you're kind of a one-dimensional fighter and you can stand up and you can knock a bunch of people out, but you can't defend a takedown. And then you go on this crazy win streak and everybody thinks you're so crazy, and really you have done great things. It's not to discredit you from doing great things, but it's like, why doesn't the UFC put them up against like real talent earlier? I mean, maybe it's to like build up stars. I don't know. Let me know in the comments or the chat what you guys think, but maybe it's to like build up a star. You know, I think if Alex Pereira fought John Jones and that fight actually had gone through, that would have been probably the worst possible decision Alex Pereira could have made. It would have been a great fight to watch, but I think that would have been probably the worst business decision Alex Pereira could have made and career decision Alex Pereira could have made, because John Jones would just eat him alive, bro. John Jones would definitely eat Alex Pereira alive, whether it's grappling, maybe not in striking, but definitely grappling. And I do think leg kicks. I think leg kicks, not head kicks, but I think leg kicks, John Jones also beats Pereira, and it would be not good for Pereira. I think his loss to Ankalaev was an eye-opener for him, even though, you know, Pereira didn't really, you know, get out grappled every round. He still did get held against the fence, and that's not something you can let slide, bro. That's another example of Pereira coming up. You know, Pereira does have kicks, and like he can leg kick, and he does have knockout power, great knockout power. But you throw him in against somebody who has grappling, you throw him in against one of those Dagestanis, you know, I think he's in some trouble there. And that's what happened against Ankalaev. Ankalaev walked him down and held him against the fence and out-grappled him, which is crazy. Which is crazy to see, and I don't think anybody likes seeing it. Because that style of fighting really isn't entertaining to watch, but it gets the job. It's like the smartest way to win a fight. Like, everybody wants like a knockout or whatever, but if you knew that you couldn't get the knockout and you knew you could win a certain way, would you still try and get the knockout? Or would you try and win the way that you know you could win? In my opinion, that's how a lot of these fighters fight. Khamzat, in my opinion, fights a similar way. Islam Makhachev is a fighter that mixes it up. I believe he has really solid striking. Khamzat, in my opinion, though, he really is the best grappler in the UFC. I think if somehow Khamzat and John Jones ever ran into each other for a fight, Khamzat wins that. And it would probably be terrible for John Jones. I'm not going to lie to you. But I don't know if that fight would ever happen. I'm pretty sure they're in two different divisions anyways. So maybe if John Jones moved down in weight, because I think Khamzat's light heavyweight. Maybe if John Jones moved down, that fight might happen eventually. But I think that would be probably not good for John. I think he needs to take this next fight and run. If he's already trying to retire, if John Jones is already trying to retire and get out of the UFC, then he definitely deserves to get out of the UFC and leave when he needs to. But make this last fight happen and call it after that. I don't think I would be chasing anything else after that unless somehow you become Mike Tyson and lose all your money and need to throw your legacy for another fight. Then you could come back and fight at a lower weight. Maybe would help you not being at heavyweight. I think John Jones honestly would probably be better at light heavyweight. Heavyweight, he just looks too slow, in my opinion. He looks really, really slow, really sluggish. And yeah, it's a crazy difference between the heavyweights and then these smaller guys like Omalley and Merab, because Merab really, honestly, moves around like crazy. His grappling is just insane. And I think tomorrow night, Merab's really going to showcase his grappling again and just dominate Omalley. and there's not really much O'Malley can do about it. O'Malley's like, like a little seal in like a shark tank. Like, there's no possible way O'Malley wins in my mind unless he gets like a crazy knockout punch. Um, O'Malley's path to victory would just be to actually just be ultra aggressive. In my opinion, the first fight, O'Malley's problem was just waiting for Merab to come to him and try and get a counter punch. But I think he needs to be the aggressor in this fight, bring the energy, and bring the fight to Merab. Merab is somebody that's always walking forward, and I think O'Malley needs to cancel that out and start walking forward. That would really help O'Malley, in my opinion. And it puts Merab on the back foot, too. I think Merab is not going to be good at standing up. I think Merab is going to have a lot of problems when it comes to that, in fact. The fact is that when Merab is backing up, I don't think I've really seen much footage on Merab backing up. And I know he's solid walking forward. But the problem is with most fighters is they're good at walking forward, but they're not good at defending when they're walking back. And O'Malley is one of the best strikers in the UFC of all time, really. And he needs to put that pressure on him. He needs to walk forward, be aggressive, and Merab's either going to fold from the pressure, and then his only other option is to shoot. What other option does Merab have? And then you defend against that takedown. So I hope that they really have been practicing takedown defense on O'Malley's side. I want an interesting fight. I really don't want it to be one-sided. O'Malley said that it's going to make it take much sweeter of a victory after having lost to him. O'Malley said during an interview with UFC leading up to the fight, I wouldn't accept the fight or ask for the fight if I didn't really truly believe that I could go out there and beat him. I know I can, and I know I will on June 7th. So O'Malley's pretty confident about the fight. It's interesting to see this attitude. I'm glad he still is confident. However, over in the press conference, which I do have that, we can watch that in a second or two, but in the press conference, he does seem confident, He does seem a little humble as well. Merab seems very, very confident. So let's check out the press conference, a little bit of that, and we can go over that.
For Merab, this is a rematch of a fight that you won. So with that in your mind, do you feel you even need to change anything from your first performance, or just go in there and repeat what you did the first time out?
Yeah, one more time, please.
Said Merab, do you feel like because you won the first fight, you need to change anything about your performance tactically, or do you just need to do the same thing again to beat Sean?
This is new fight. This is new challenge. Like Sean said, he will be 70% better. I'm expecting he will be better version of himself last time. And this is new fight. I know now he's humble, but he wants to knock me out, and I'm here to not let him do that. I'm gonna break him, and after we can be friends, no problem. But June 7th, we are enemies again, and I'm gonna show better fight and break him.
You've mentioned that you want to fight again very quickly after this fight. Does that mean you think you can get through a fight with Sean without taking any damage?
One more time.
Do you feel like you're going to take any damage?
Bro, Merab is so funny. Also, she's fine, bro. She's fighting Kayla Harrison. And, yo, Haley, welcome to the chat. Kath, welcome to the chat. I don't know if I said it earlier. Renee, welcome to the chat. Hope everybody's having a wonderful day. We're currently live over on the Canvas Hub as well as Twitch right now. Doing a Just Chatting stream, talking about the Sean O'Malley Merab fight. And we're watching a little bit of the press conference highlights right now. So the fight is tomorrow night, and super excited for it. I'm gonna definitely check up on this fight, which is Merab versus Sean O'Malley, and then Kayla Harrison's fight as well.
In this fight, or you're going to make it look easy and can fight again right away?
This is
You're
fight business, and of course I'm ready for everything. You know, he's a tough fighter. He has a 10 win in UFC, and wherever it goes, but I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna win, and I'm not gonna give my belt to him. You know, this is mine, and I'm gonna keep it, and we can be friends after. Let's go.
This is the start of him saying that him and O'Malley can be friends after the fight, and I do like that attitude, but I don't at the same time, because it's like, I don't think Merab really cared for O'Malley. In fact, I really think that he didn't like O'Malley at the beginning or the build-up to the last fight. So, and I know that there has been videos of them hanging out. Like, they ran into each other in, like, a hot tub, which, you know, pause. But, like, bro, I don't know. It's like LeBron being friends with all the other NBA players. Like, would you want the UFC fighters, like, talking like this before the fight? Like, it's fine if they're friends, like, after the fight, or, like, you know, you're dapping up your homie after the game, I guess. But, like, before the fight, before the game, like, you know, it's game time. Like, get your head in the game. Get your head in the fight. This is a fight business, so.
Sean, the last rematch you had was with Chito Vera, and that was one of your best performances of your entire career. Does that give you motivation and confidence, showing what you can do a second time against the same guy?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is a completely different fight, but undefeated in rematches, we're going to keep it that way.
Is Buckley fighting too? Because that's a fight I'm going to definitely watch too. I didn't see anything about that.
Do you feel like Merab is the type of guy you need to fight twice to get used to that pressure and style that he has? Or was that just a bad night at the office and you can do better this time?
No, not this card.
Merab's, you know, as good as Merab's mastered his skill set, and, you know, no excuses. He won the first fight. We're fighting again. That's it.
Nah, fuck that. You had a bad night.
I had a bad night.
One thing I don't like about O'Malley, and I'm going to be totally honest here, I don't think that he's good in the press conferences, bro. I don't think he's well at talking trash. I don't think he's well at, you know, figuring out what to say that would really have an impact or be like a good burn, if you will, a good saying that people would clip. Like, I don't think people really like clip O'Malley's press conferences. Like, given this is a highlight, but I mean, what is he really saying here, you know?
Look, no color in the hair this time. There's no real beef between you and Merab. Do you feel that that might actually help you take some pressure off and give you a chance to just perform how you want?
No, the hair, everything going on this week is just, you know, a little bit more laid back, but Saturday is going to be exciting.
Question between you and Merab. Do you feel that that might actually help you take some of the hair this time? There's no real...
I had a bad night.
Wait, what does he say right
no
here,
color
bro?
in the hair this time. There's no real beef between you and Merab. Do you feel that that might actually help you take some pressure off and give you a chance to just perform how you want?
No, the hair, everything going on this week is just, you know, a little bit more laid back, but Saturday is going to be exciting.
Question for Merab.
Yo, she's bad, bro. She bad. Chill.
Merab, it seems like every fight week your name gets bigger and bigger. The fans get louder.
Yo, look at his nose, bro. Look at his nose. You know that witch from, what's that movie where she's like, I'm not in Kansas anymore? That witch, bro. He's got the same nose.
Louder. How does it feel to be in this position right now?
I'm just grateful to be here. Thank you, UFC, and thank you, UFC fans. Do I have a
They're
best
booing
job
his
in the
ass.
world, and I enjoy every time I'm...
Listen to what he's saying, though. He's being so positive, bro. He's like, thank you. I love all the fans. Like, boo. And he's like, thank you, guys. I love you.
stepping here. I'm grateful, and I'm getting better and better, and you guys will see June 7th. And still...
See, now I start cheering, bro. They're so bipolar. What is this?
My first question is...
I'm getting better and better, and you know, every day I'm so thankful for you guys as being fans. Boo! Somebody get a tomato. Throw it. Throw it. He's dodging tomatoes. Boom, boom, boom. But you know, Saturday I'm gonna prove it all. And still. And they all go, yeah. Like, what?
Sugar, you had Israel Adesanya and Demetrius Johnson with you in training camp this week. What did they tell you coming off a loss? Because they both experienced losses and came back big. What kind of advice did they have?
First of all, shout out to these fans, right? You guys are passionate. I can feel it. You guys are fucking awesome. Yeah, hanging out with Demetrius and Izzy was super cool. It was more of a random little pop by. Hung out for a little bit. Just being around them and feeling that energy is inspiring. But, not too much was said about the fight specifically.
Your former
You know, I think that's a fair response from O'Malley, in my opinion, because it's kind of a slick question from the reporter. You don't want to reveal too much from Merab, or really if you talk to either of the fighters about a loss. I mean, Israel Adesanya and Mighty Mouse are the fighters that the reporter was referencing that Sean O'Malley was, training with earlier in the week or in the past. And it's interesting. I think that's a good response, honestly.
opponent, Chris Moutinho, he's won 5 fights in a row by finish, and he's back in the UFC now. How cool is it to see your former opponents evolve?
Damn, that's awesome. Congratulations to him. That's cool.
Go ahead.
I don't know how else you're supposed to answer this, but bro, just listen to his, good for him.
5
Like,
fights in a
bro,
row by finish, and he's back in the UFC now. How cool is it to see your former opponents
listen
evolve?
to this.
Damn, that's awesome. Congratulations to him. That's cool.
Go ahead.
One for Sean O'Malley. Sean, I know you don't want to talk a lot of trash this week, but Merab said earlier this week on Embedded, he said, I stole his jacket, I stole his title belt, and now I'm going to steal his sponsors and his fans. There's going to be...
He said, I stole your sponsors. I'm going to steal your fans. I'm going to walk up to you behind you in the lunch line. I'm going to smack the chocolate milk out of your hand. Sean O'Malley, you got to do something, bro. You got to fight back. And if you lose, you got to be waiting for him outside in an alley, in a dark alley, bro. It's got to go there if you lose, bro. You got to fight back. Next thing he's going to try and steal your girl, bro. You can't no, bro. You can't let him take everything from you, bro. He's going to take the braids out your head, bro. Nah. He's going to take the sunglasses off your face, bro.
Be a heavy contingency of Sean O'Malley fans in the building this weekend. So what's your message to Merab after hearing him say he's going to steal everything from you?
I truly believe I'm going to knock Merab out. Come Sunday, no one's going to give a fuck about Merab, and that's just, it is what it is.
Keep talking, and you're gonna get more humble.
Imagine being Sean O'Malley and losing to this guy, and then getting the rematch, and you have to sit across from him. And you're just like, yeah, I'm gonna knock the fuck out of Merab. Like, nobody's gonna give a fuck about him. And you hear Merab, keep talking, bro. He talks like an ogre does, bro. Like, nah, man. Like, he literally talks like an ogre, bro.
I'm making people humble. And you will see June 7th. Yeah, you was playing all this time like a humble guy. But, okay, I'll show you again. One more time. Keep talking.
And he's so hyped about that. He's like, he thinks that that's like the best like trash talk in the world, bro. He's just smiling. He's like, yeah, man. Like, you've been playing fake humble this whole time, but okay, I'll show you again. Like, bro, like, am I the only one like just like sitting here like, okay, like, you know, like, I just want to see the fight at this point.
Question for Sean.
He's like laughing and shit. He's like bouncing up and down. He's like, bro, Marab's on top of the world in his head right now, man.
Omalley, your dad's gonna be in your corner. It's his birthday on Saturday. What do you hope his presence is gonna mean to you when he is in your corner?
Yeah, you know, it's
Yo, Sean O'Malley's dad's in the corner with him Saturday night for his birthday. About to watch his son get dominated in the UFC. Man, I would have been like, Dad, take the fight off. I'm sorry. You know, I'm sorry. Like, it won't be a good gift. It won't be a good gift for you. Because, like, dude, Sean O'Malley's about to get dominated, man.
cool gift to be able to give your dad. His 60th birthday, gonna be sitting there cage side watching me fight. Like, there's nothing better I could give to him. And yeah, I'm excited for him to be in there.
So that is the highlights for the press conference. It was really short. The whole thing was really only 12 minutes. Let's see if we can get the Kayla Harrison press conference. Here we go.
Kayla, I know you said at Media Day yesterday, with this win,
Yo, look at her arms, bro. Look at her arms. Look at her shoulders. Look at her chin, bro. Oh my.
you're going to be the new face of women's MMA. What does that mean?
Look at this. Look at this, bro. That's crazy. She asks her husband what he made for dinner when she comes home from work, bro.
Mean to you, and what obligation do you feel you would have with that title?
I love you guys so much. Thank you. It would be an honor and a privilege to be the face of women's MMA. I don't take it lightly. I consider it a huge responsibility, and Saturday night I'm going to go out there and I'm going to leave it all in the cage so that I can be a new UFC champion of the world.
And Kayla, I know you all
I just can't get over her arms, bro. Look at her arms. Look at her arms. You think she can break a watermelon with those?
also said yesterday that Juliana doesn't necessarily excel at fighting, so she has to excel at the trash talk. Do you feel she has excelled in talking leading up to this fight? Has she got under your skin?
She definitely hasn't gotten under my skin. I got thick skin. It takes a little more than a chihuahua.
Yo, you definitely got thick skin, bro. Your skin's probably like an armadillo. That's probably armor, bro. That's probably not even skin. Like, that's actually insane. Wolverine's claws probably couldn't even go into you. Like,
Bargain to get under my skin, but
Even your chihuahua doesn't like you, Kayla. Even your own dang dog doesn't even like you.
the time for talking is almost over, and Saturday night we're gonna find out.
There's
yo, I think Kayla Harrison's gonna win this fight. To be honest with you, I'd like to see her lose if I'm being honest with you. But bro, look at her arms, man. Like, you can almost see a vein popping out right there. Like, she's insane, bro. Like, she's actually like the Hulk, but like girl form. This is She-Hulk. This is She-Hulk in the UFC.
the face of women.
Somewhere Saturday night, you're gonna see Meg Thee Stallion twerking randomly. The camera's just gonna pan over. Meg Thee Stallion is just gonna start twerking on one foot, and then, you know, it's gonna pan back to Kayla Harrison. She's just gonna get the knockout. Meg Thee Stallion's gonna somehow levitate into the ring.
Women's MMA, and you're looking at her.
I can't hear her.
Juliana, for you though, I know you said through this process you haven't been talking trash, you've just been defending yourself. But, you know, they say in sports the best defense is a good offense. So do you feel this has affected Kayla at all?
I don't know. I can only speak for myself and what I have to do, and I'm only responding to the things that she has said to me. So it's not necessarily trash talk. It's more so the fact that I'm not going to let this girl talk all over.
One thing about Juliana, I don't know how to say her last name. One thing about her, she's really nice. You know what I'm saying? She's really good looking. I'm pretty sure I've seen a few of her fights before. However, during the trash talk, this is purely based on the trash talk. her responses are saying that she doesn't care about what Kayla Harrison's saying. But clearly she cares, bro. She clearly cares, like, in my opinion. Like, I don't know how obvious it is to anybody else, but I feel like she definitely cares, and it's definitely getting under her skin, which I think could be a psychological tactic, you know? Joshua, I agree. Thank you so much for being in my YouTube chat, by the way. I think you're the first new person ever in my YouTube chat. So thank you.
Over me and try to think that she's gonna get into my head. It's not gonna happen.
Question for Kayla. Kayla, you sometimes refer to your career as a climb. Do you believe that taking out Juliana, dethroning her, and becoming champion would be the equivalent to reaching the summit of that mountain? Or do you think you would have to take out Amanda Nunes first to really reach the peak?
When I talk about a mountain, you know, I really think that there's no peak. It's just every step every day I wanna wake up and be the best possible version of myself. And I'm grateful to Juliana because she's bringing out another newer, better version of me. And after I whoop her ass, I'm coming for Amanda.
Yo, that's crazy that she just said that. And she's smiling like the Joker right now, too, bro. Oh, my gosh. Yo, I think she's about to go crazy on Juliana. I'm not gonna lie. Bro, Sean O'Malley looks like he's totally over this press conference. I'm not gonna lie. He looks totally over it. Like, he does not want to be there. And that was the vibe I got when I watched the whole press conference. I can pull up the whole press conference if you guys want. But I feel like these are the main talking points I wanted to go over.
What do you know? What do
Shout
you
out
say?
to YouTube.
Kayla,
Facts.
how are you
Shout out to
gonna beat me
YouTube.
Like I asked you the last time, are you gonna lay on top of me and cook the clock for 25 minutes? Because that is literally your only chance to victory. That's your only chance to beat me is lay on top of me for 25 minutes.
You've been stopped.
And back to what I was saying earlier. And I don't know if you just heard that, but Kayla Harrison's like, what are you going to do to beat me? And Juliana's like, well, are you just going to lay on top of me for 25 minutes? Because, like, that's your only chance. But back to what I was saying about Hamzat and all those guys. It's just like, why would you stand up and fight if you know you can win in a certain way? Like, if you know you can just win by grappling, why am I going to stand up and fight you? Like, if you know you can beat Pereira by grappling, why would you stand up and box with them? And it doesn't really apply, like I said earlier, as well to the Ankalaev fight because Ankalaev was walking him down as well as grappling, but he was walking him down. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm interested to see this fight. I'm interested to see the outcome. And the trash talk is interesting.
It doesn't
You've
matter.
lost more
The
fights
six fights
than
that
I've lost
taken,
rounds
the 6 fights
in
that I've
MMA.
taken in order to get and fight the best in the world, I'll take that all day over your 20 fights that it's taken you to get
We're
to here
gonna
right
find
now.
out.
Yeah.
She's mad. And Kayla Harrison's so calm and relaxed, but you can tell, bro. You can tell that she's upset. And earlier she's like, I'm not letting any of what she says get to me. I'm just responding to what she says. But it's clearly getting under her skin. And I think she's going to be more nervous on fight night than Kayla Harrison is.
We are.
Which is a huge factor I personally look for in these fights. I just want to say real quick. Sorry, I keep stopping it. But that's a huge factor I look for in MMA fights, UFC fights, or boxing fights. Whatever fighter looks more nervous, I automatically look to the other fighter. And I'm like, do they got like that killer look in their eyes? And if they do, I'm like, damn, well, they got the edge right now. Because I feel like they're going to be the ones walking forward. They're going to be the ones being more aggressive. And honestly, it really has panned out like the last few fights where I'm like, Mike Tyson looks pretty nervous, bro. Like, he doesn't look like he's got this killer instinct in him. Like, he looks like nervous. Like, he's walking out by himself. He didn't have anybody with him. And, you know, what happened to Mike Tyson? What happened to Pereira? Pereira didn't have that killer look in his eyes against Ankalaev. But that's just my opinion. So, along with more details about the Sean O'Malley Merab fight, 9 months after he lost the bantamweight title to Dvalishvili, the 30-year-old O'Malley has brought an all-or-nothing attitude into training for his shot at regaining UFC gold. O'Malley has sworn off everything from podcasting and smoking marijuana ahead of the rematch. In fact, the married father of one has also taken a vow of celibacy. So, he's not smoking weed, he's not doing his podcast, and he's being celibate. All for this fight. So he's putting all his marbles in one bag for this fight. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. We'll see. We'll see. A lot of people, a lot of fighters talk about doing things that are similar in terms of training methods, preparing themselves mentally, clearing their head, and it could be a good way to get a different result. Maybe if he was doing all those things before, he wants to take a different approach, and that could be good. That could definitely get him a different result for this upcoming fight tomorrow. The extreme lifestyle changes O'Malley's way to remove any potential excuses, unlike their first meeting in UFC 306 in Las Vegas, where Suga put off torn labrum surgery in order to take the fight. And his coach, Tim Welch, later revealed that O'Malley had trouble seeing Dvalishvili strikes in their first fight due to the unique lighting at the Sphere, which is the Vegas Sphere that they fought in. This is O'Malley doubling down on his hope of reigniting a run atop the 135-pound division while removing all possible distractions. A win likely restores O'Malley's standings as one of UFC's bigger attractions, while a loss could send him directly into a move up in weight to 145 pounds. Yeah, I think if he loses this fight, it's going to be huge. It's going to be not good. It's going to have a crazy negative impact for his career, so let's hope that he wins. Because O'Malley does have a bright future. He is one of UFC's biggest stars. So I am interested to see how that turns out. Trying to think. Does anybody have any topics that I should talk about, that you guys would like to see me talk about? I could talk about the Pop Smoke, Steven Victor, Pusha T, Drake situation if you guys want. I do have a few minutes left, so I'm trying to hit one more thing if I can. I feel like we did almost an hour on the UFC, which is good. About 45 minutes. Solid. Alright, no problem. We can go into the Pop Smoke situation. He is involved, but to a degree. Pop Smoke, his post-Humanist album, Shoot for the Stars, Aim for the Moon, was almost blocked by his label, Pusha T, Drake, Pop Smoke, album, verse. Wow. We're about to find this. We're about to talk about it. We got the source right here. It says Universal Music Group nearly scrapped the release of a Pop Smoke track due to a controversial verse from Pusha T that executives believed aimed at Drake. The revelation came from Steven Victor, Pop Smoke's label head, and Pusha T's longtime manager during a recent Billboard interview. Let's see. It says UMG thought he was dissing Drake on that song. Victor told Billboard he wasn't, but they thought he was. Despite the verse having no direct connection to Pop Smoke, Victor was told in no uncertain terms either Pusha T altered the lyrics or the label would halt the album's release entirely. That's big news. I think First of all, I have a few things to say about this. One, I'll talk about Drake for a second and say, I mean, come on, you were really about to block Pop Smoke's whole album over a Pusha T verse. Mind you, it was posthumous work, so I don't think that Pop Smoke would have allowed a diss like that on his album anyways. I think that Pop Smoke most likely would have been on Dark Lane demos with Drake and probably on that song with Fabio Foreign on Drake's album, or mixtape, whatever you want to call it. Dark Lane demos that came out. And I think Pop Smoke and Drake would have collabed. Like, I don't think there would have been like this whole tension. So I do think it is kind of crazy to be in this situation if you were Pop Smoke's estate, to where, you know, you have this song that's good, you're going to put it out, you're going to put out the album, his first posthumous album at that, so it has to be a big release. And then Pusha T gives you the verse, but the label heads think that it's dissing Drake, so unless he changes the lyrics or alters them, they're going to halt the album entirely. Now, Pusha T, I think this is the biggest problem. Why are you dissing Drake on a Dead Man's album? Why was that an important thing that you had to get off your chest? Pop Smoke's first posthumous album did not need that to be big. It did not need the clout from it. Frankly, I don't even think Pusha T is that big of a rapper to be... I mean, do it, I guess. You already beef with Drake, but like, I mean, Pusha T could say the world's ending on his next album, and I don't think too many people would really care that much. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, why does Pusha T take the time to go on Pop Smoke's first posthumous album, give his camp a verse that's potentially gonna cause problems just for clicks, just for clout, you know? Like, that's what I don't understand, first of all, because I think that's like a poor mindset to have. Like, you're trying to get clicks for yourself, you're trying to get people to go hear your verse on this song, then go discover your other songs in your discography, your other projects, things like that, and it's just in poor taste, in my opinion. Now, I do have one other thing to say, because it's not just Pusha T's fault. I do think that him putting out a verse that could potentially halt the album that he knew he was going to cause problems with, I think that's a huge problem. However, Steven Victor, I wanted to make this video for like the past 2 years, and frankly, when I look back on this, I know I'm not going to be able to get off as much as I need to get off. Pusha T is not an artist that needed to be collabing with Pop Smoke. I realize there's an interview where Pop Smoke says he likes Pusha T. However, it's interesting and blows my mind every time that an artist dies. They scramble and go around and say, hey, Rick Ross, hey, Lil Wayne, hey, some other third artist that the artist never met, they have no connection to, maybe they were a fan of, but that doesn't understand the vibes of their songs at all. And it's disappointing to listen to afterwards. It's very disappointing to listen to afterwards. So, Steven Victor, first of all, why do we get Pusha T on Pop Smoke's first posthumous album? Let's look up the track list. Shoot for the Stars. Pop Smoke track list. Where is it? We need the whole track list. Where's the song with Pusha T? Is it here? Pop Smoke, Pusha T. Or was it on... It was on Faith? Tell the Vision. Alright, so it was on Faith. Faith, Pop Smoke. So then what? Are they not counting... Are they not counting Shoot for the Stars, Aim for the Moon as his first posthumous album? I don't know why they said that. That's weird. But let's look at this track list. Let's get back on topic to what I was talking about. With label heads getting a bunch of artists, you know, that the artist never collabed with before. Why do we have Pusha T on the album? Did Pop Smoke ever collab with Pusha T prior to his death? Did he say he wanted to collab with him? No, he said he was a fan of him. So why do we have him on the album? Why do we have him on the album, is my opinion. Why do we have Rick Ross on Pop Smoke's album? Why do we have 21 Savage and 42 Dugg on the album? I let this slide because, you know, Pop Smoke was friends with Migos before he died, so that's fine. This song, Demeanor. Demeanor was supposed to have Bruno Mars. Demeanor was supposed to have Bruno Mars on it. That's what Pop Smoke wanted. And they go and get Dua Lipa. There's literally a video. I can pull it up. Pop Smoke, Demeanor. Snippet.
Introducing the station knife. Benchmade performance.
He literally tags Bruno Mars. He's like, hey, like, we need you on this. I told you if we get Bruno Mars on this, it's over. So that's what he was saying before he died. And what do they do to honor him when he's dead? They go, should we get Bruno Mars? No, bro. They get Dua Lipa. Why do you get Dua Lipa, bro? There's literally a video of him saying if we get Bruno Mars, it's over. Like, if his estate reveals that maybe like Bruno Mars like denied the song, like that's fine. But like, bro, Bruno Mars should have been on this song. You have the power to get anybody in the industry because Pop Smoke was like the most famous rapper in the industry that was dead aside from Juice WRLD. Like, I'm sorry, X is taking a third place to that, but it would probably be Pop Smoke at the time that he died because they had so much music that they're going to put out, and Juice WRLD's estate knew that they weren't going to put out the music. Like, let's be honest. Like, they were just baiting his fans into trying to, like, build up like a weight for the album. Kind of how Cardi does. Like, there's no way Juice's album or Juice's label puts out that many notices saying that the album's going to drop this time, doesn't drop. The album's going to drop this time, doesn't drop. So you have the power to get anybody in the industry, and you get Dua Lipa, bro. I'm pretty sure this Woo Baby song with Chris Brown was supposed to have Youngboy on it, too. This song was supposed to have NBA Youngboy on it. So it's interesting to me that the situation is even happening, because when it's laid out literally, when an artist dies, but they have it laid out literally. Why would you go against that? Unless his estate or unless Steven Victor comes out and says, hey, this is what happened. You know, like the artist that we wanted to get on the track denied it, didn't want to get on it. But until you say that, the fans are left thinking, the people that genuinely listened to the music, genuinely cared about the artist, you know, are left thinking, you guys just did them dirty, bro. You guys did them dirty. You guys got a bunch of random artists, shoved them on here, tried to get as many sales as you could, and didn't really care about the music. If you cared about the music more, you wouldn't have said any verse that an artist has that has Pop Smoke in it, that, and you're an upcoming artist, you can't use that verse. So any artist that was upcoming that had a Pop Smoke verse could not use his verse because they didn't want like upcoming artists to come up off the features. So they blocked all the songs. Like he has a song with Chef G's got songs with Dave East. He's got a bunch of verses that had to get replaced or taken off other songs and put on these albums. And it's like the OG would have been better, bro. The OG would have been better. The OG really would have been better. I'm not gonna lie. And that's just one of the problems, because if you go to the Shoot for the Stars, Aim for the Moon track list, you already have 19 songs, and you go look at any other Pop Smoke track list. Let's look at Meet the Woo Volume 1. Meet the Woo Volume 1. Let's look at this. How many tracks does it have? 9. How many tracks does Meet the Woo 2 have? 13. So then you go and you look at this and you're like, okay, so his first Posthumous album, it had 19 tracks. That's already 6 more tracks than, you know, it's already 6 to 10 more tracks than his last albums that he put out when he was alive had. So it's like, why are you guys putting out so much music? Like, you literally could have probably put out a whole another project. But wait, it gets worse, because you type in, I'll type in Shoot for the Stars, Aim for the Moon Deluxe, because they put out a deluxe. Wait for this. "34 songs. And mind you, some of these are like, you have Diana, the remix with King Combs and Cowboy. But then you have Diana with only King Combs right here. So granted, there is like a song or two that are like that, like Enjoy Yourself feat Burna Boy, Yeah Yeah feat Queen Nasia, and there is a few songs like that, like Iced Out Audemars, you know, with Daffy Woo, as compared to I think they had Lil Wayne on the single for Pop Smoke. But I mean, this is 34 songs, bro. You're telling me that they couldn't have waited? They couldn't have vaulted some of these? They couldn't have cut it here? Like, if you cut the project here, that's still a good project, bro. Like, if you literally cut the project at song 9, that's literally fine. And I'm not saying that these 9 songs have to be the songs that make up the project, but you literally probably could have done the first 9 songs of this project and then dropped something special. You drop What You Know About Love. You drop What You Know About Love first. You market the fuck out of that. And then you build around that. You drop something special. Then you drop another project. You drop Mood Swings as the lead single. You drop Enjoy Yourself on there. You maybe have The Woo on there. You have so many songs to choose from. And you just said, hey, what songs do we put on the album? What do we do? What do we do? Okay, let's put them all out. So then what happens after you put out 34 songs? You still have a few left. You're not completely out. You put out 20 more songs, bro. 20 more songs. Like, again, why can't we cut the album right here? This is, you know, this is a skit, I'm pretty sure. But starting right here, this is all songs. You probably could have just had 9 songs. Pop Smoke probably could have had 4 or 5 albums. Pop Smoke literally could have had 4 or 5 posthumous albums, but the problem with his estate is they put out way too many songs. They put out his first posthumous album with 19 songs, and then they literally had, what, 16, 15 more? I think it's 15 more songs on the deluxe. Like, that's a whole album. Like, it should not have been, like, a double. That's basically a double album. I don't know why they treated it like that, because it shouldn't have been like that. But, I mean, bro, it's insane to me. It really is insane. And for all these albums, like, 50 Cent had a big hand in, you know, getting artists for this album. And as much as I would have liked more of, like, the drill rappers for the drill songs, I think that 50 Cent did a good job on this album for the most part. I think it was a good album, but I think the deluxe was not needed. I think this is fine if you don't put out the deluxe and you give it like another year or two until you put out another album, and you literally have so many more songs to put with Faith, and Faith becomes probably a better album. Now, my opinion on Faith and these first 9 songs, as I say, yeah, you could drop these first 9 songs, I'm reminded that they have Top Shotta and they have Pusha T on there again, and it's like, bro, Pusha T's on the album twice, and they changed the beat for this song. The original beat for the song was a drill beat, and it was a song with Pop Smoke and Eli Frost. And it already had its own music video that was out. And they took Eli Frost off. They changed the beat to some Little Mermaid beat. And it's like, how do you do that, bro? Like, how do you do that? Like, maybe in their minds, they're like, yeah, Disney's gonna, like, maybe, like, go crazy with this. Like, if we mute, like, half the lyrics, like, we'll be good. Like, there's no way. Like, maybe Fast and the Furious, like, when they're driving off in the sunset and there's, like, a little crab walking on the beach, like, maybe they can play this song. But it's like, bro, you put Pusha T on here, you change the beat. It's crazy to me. It really is crazy. I think the real biggest loser of that whole situation with Pusha T really just honestly would have been Pop Smoke and his estate if he had his whole album delayed because of a verse. Pusha T should know better as a veteran artist in the game, especially when it's dealing with posthumous work. It's nasty behavior, in my opinion, to do something you know that's going to cause controversy. It should be more about honoring the artist's work, staying true to kind of like the vibe they had on their music, and putting maybe a little bit of your spin on it and making a good song, making something that's going to last, making a hit. I think that's more important than trying to get clicks, trying to get clout. And yeah. All right, chat. I think that's everything I got for today. Thank you guys so much for everybody who's been here. The full stream will be on YouTube over at the Canvas Hub. That is pinned up at the top of the chat. Make sure you guys subscribe. We're almost to 50 subs. Thank you for all the support lately. We got another video and another short coming out today. We already had a video and I think maybe 2 shorts come out today. So make sure you guys are on the lookout for my videos. Something weird happened with my 20 kill streak Grievous video where it was scheduled to come out today, but if you look in my videos, it appears like it came out yesterday, which doesn't make any sense because it was supposed to come out today. So I don't know if it released and then just got shifted back for some reason, but thank you guys. I appreciate you guys. And